Really.
Hi, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching my videos here. I'm joined with Inti Campo.
Hello, everyone.
He's going to be looking in the chat room, making sure that you guys are all behaving yourself and having a good time. And he's got a few words to say.
Yes. As always, it's good to remind you that this video is for entertainment purposes only, and this is not a financial advice. You should always do your own research before putting your hard-earned money on the market.
Yes, exactly. And today we're going to be talking about, obviously, we're going to do some technical analysis first, but we're going to be talking about how, you can buy Bitcoin today and it's going to be well over $1 million, right? So buy your $1 million Bitcoin today because, I don't want to hear you guys saying, do you got any more of that $6,500 Bitcoin or $7,000 Bitcoin? Right? I don't want to hear that. Right? So when it's at 1 million in a couple of years from now, like, or maybe even like 6 years from now. But it's going to be at $1 million eventually because of all the fraud in our current financial system. Our system is so wrought with fraud that even what's his name, Alan Greenspan said that fraud is part of the system to a regulator who was named Brooksley Born, who are trying to fight to regulate the banks so that they wouldn't gamble away your money and cause them to go bankrupt, and so that you would have to bail, the governments would have to bail them out. Well, obviously she failed on that task, and we're going to be talking about that as well today. And we're going to also show you all the examples of the fraud, a few examples, not all of them, a few examples, because we can't go through all of them, of course. And talk and show you how that this system is really crooked, especially when it comes to gold and silver. Oh my God, they are brutal against gold and silver. All right, so with that said, let's head over to the chart. Why not? All right, and talk about what really happened. What happened last night? Well, dumperoo. We got stopped out. I got stopped out on this great trade where I bought this here, and it looked like it turned into what this is called let's see here, railroad tracks, and I thought for sure it confirmed that, hey, we should be going higher, and nope, we dumped. So sometimes these things, tell you one thing, and the candlestick patterns tell you one thing, and it does the opposite. So gotta live with it, right? So that's why you have to set your stops. You gotta accept your losses and make sure your losses are not so big that you're gonna get wrecked. You guys saw last time, if you were watching yesterday, that hey, I was only going to lose 5%. That's a very small amount of money. Should this trade turn against me, and it did.
Oh my
What's
god.
going on, Ninty?
Do you remember that I told you yesterday that I made a terrible trade because I short this while you were longing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my profit.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's great. I'm glad. We're glad. I'm glad that you. You know what? The market is not about being right. It's about staying alive,
Yeah,
making choices,
that's very important.
making choices based on what you see, what your trading plan is, and going ahead with them and making sure that you don't lose your money, lose everything you have. So yeah, all right, that's great, Inti. I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you got that short off and you made some money. Alrighty, with that said, let's take a look at what we've got here. Well, looks like Bitcoin has broken down. We zoom out and we do a fib, just a fibby fib, just to the last turn, right? We can see that we're at the 78.6, I believe. Well, not quite, but we should be getting there today because I really feel that this thing's probably gonna do another push down. How much it goes down, it all depends on the market, but I think with this thing rolling over, we should probably get only a small move down into this area here, which I think is a POC, a point of control. Ooh, not good. not good. Yeah, so it looks like we're gonna bust through all that probably to get down all the way down to the 66. Yeah, the 666 level, just like I thought. What I said in what's it called? At MM Crypto, I did a show with MM Crypto, and I said, hey, you know what? It's going to 6,666, and yeah, that's where they're taking this thing. And if we break, we still have to break this level, but it looks like we will. Once we break this, we're going down to 6,660. So at the very least, so. A bit unfortunate, but that's where we'd have to reassess the situation. Is there a trade here? These three drives or three musketeers, right, indicate that we're going to have a little bit more power coming back down. The 13 EMA, this is on the hourly, so the 13 EMA is like so far away, so there could be like a FU move to screw out anybody who takes a short down here. So you're not playing with a position of strength if you try to short down here. So I would not try to do that, even though it might just continue rolling over. I would try to get the short closer to the 13 EMA, even though it's probably not going to cross that level before it actually dumps down. I would go down to 5 minute, but it's probably just going to lie to us and not give us any kind of information as to where the direction is going to go. I'm going to stick with the 1 hour and say, hey, we're going down. If we go to the 4 hour, again, the 4 hour needs a little bit of consolidation. We've gone too far, too fast. So don't be surprised again that we pop back up closer to the 13 EMA on the hourly and then roll over and come back down. Probably going to see even we might even see a test of the 200 weekly average of the 4 hour, but I get the feeling that they're probably not going to let us do it. They're not going to do that. If that's the case, and they bounce off of this level here, this area here, where they definitely want to take us. I think they want to stop all these people here, and I think if they get down here and they push further enough, further down, they might take us all the way down, close to the 6,200 level before we actually turn around. So let's see what it does. I mean, we can't break this level. I think here, this is the absolute line in the sand before we actually go all the way to 62, and then we have to reassess the situation, and it might get even worse if we break down. Hopefully we don't, but let's just see what it does. The market will do whatever it wants to do, and hopefully we can see some sort of rollover, create a what's it called, a divergence, right? Because this is like very fast movement, so we should see some sort of divergence in the 4 hour, and then we can go, okay, let's place our long bets here and go for some seeing something a breakout of this level here. But not until we see that, not until we see the divergence. Unfortunately, we're going to have on a daily time frame. We're going to have divergence on a daily time frame, and that is not good. An upward daily divergence. So let me show you that right now, because I really think that we're going to end up with a daily divergence, and that's not good. Right here, let's see here. Yeah, so the divergence is confirmed. Might get confirmed today. Depends of course on how the daily close is, but it looks like it's confirmed without the close of today's candle right here. Yeah, it's confirmed. We have a daily confirmed divergence between here and here, so the market is going up, but this is leading you to indicate that this divergence leads to indicate that, hey, the market wants to come back down. And it has, and it looks like it wants to even go further, unfortunately. And this is the area where we want to stay. We want to hold for sure, but I think this trend line is the more important level than this one, because I really think that we probably will, if we don't hold these areas or even hold the 38.2 probably be another place where we can draw some battle lines. But I really don't see any kind of like traffic here at the 38.2. So I really think that it probably going to get ignored, and we could see the 61.8. Oh my God. Let's hope not. Yeah. So that's the sad news of the situation here. This Davo might get busted out for sure. I think hopefully it doesn't, but if it does, that's not a good sign, man. Not a good sign. Well, that's the way the ball bounces. All right. So with that said, I want to talk about Pandora's wallet. If you're interested in joining our Telegram group and have permanent membership to our Telegram group, up until the end of this month, you'll have permanent membership to our Telegram group. After that, you will have to renew your subscription in order to maintain your membership in the Telegram group. You could just purchase 1 month of a subscription, and you will have access to my private Telegram group, where this Sunday we are going to do some live trading through that Telegram group. So check it out and be there. It's going to be at 7 o'clock Santiago time, which is the same time Eastern Standard Time. And so we're going to start then, and we're going to trade for at least 3 hours, if not more. Also, if you're interested in me talking about any particular cryptocurrency or doing a technical analysis and fundamental analysis on your bags, right? Just purchase 2 years subscription and send an email to support@davincicodes.net. And we will do the technical analysis online, live on my stream, on my channel, and a fundamental analysis of your cryptocurrency, and possibly even add it to Pandora's wallet so that you can secure your bags. All right. With that said, let's head over to today's news. Well, I want to go back in time and talk about this warning from Brooksley Born. She was a regulator who quit, and because she found out the truth of our system, that it's a complete fraud, right? And so I'm going to play this clip for you because it's very important that I want to hear this, and hopefully I don't get a strike. But you know how it is, man. They're after us, so I might get a strike on this. So.
He said something to the effect of, well, Brooksley, we're never going to agree on fraud. And she said, well, what do you mean? And he said, you probably think there should be rules against it. She said, well, yes, I do. He said, you know.
Yeah, so Brooks, you could watch the rest of it. But basically, Greenspan said fraud is a part of our financial system. And you've seen it all, right? You've seen about Wells Fargo robbing his client. You've heard all the different craziness, right? I mean, like here, if you haven't heard, right, Wells Fargo, right, had to pay out $3 billion, including $500 million in civil penalties to be distributed by the SEC to the investors, right? And what they did was they opened up fake accounts. They created credit cards and stuff like that in your name and charged you for it, and took the money out of your bank account. And this was rampant, and this was done at the highest level. But hey, you know what? They can't go to jail, right? And so that's the situation of our and Wells Fargo's done many, many, many things. And notice how this penalty was not enough to like harm them. It was like, I made $20 billion, almost $20 billion, and I got to pay a small fine. It's like cost of doing business. So I just had to reduce my dividend checks to everybody. Big deal, right? So this is the kind of thing, right, that that our financial system is all about. And Brooksley Born was trying to stop derivatives fraud. Derivatives, because derivatives are basically what Warren Buffett said, they're financial weapons of mass destruction. And so, yeah, I mean, it's the most dangerous kind of asset to use, because the thing you can do with these derivatives, right, is like, what you can do with a derivative is that you can bet on something. For example, let's just say you I don't know, you purchase airline stock, right? And you or airline debt, even worse. You have a bunch of airline debt that you're paying. You're getting paid a 10% what's it called, the interest rate on the airline. And somebody says, yeah, I wouldn't hold airline debt because I think they're gonna go bankrupt. And with normalcy bias and stuff like that, you might say, well, that's never going to go bankrupt, right? I'm 100% sure. And then somebody comes along and says, I bet they will go bankrupt. And and you're like, no, they're never going to go bankrupt. So how would you get into a bet for that? Well, with derivatives, synthetic derivatives, you can somebody can pay you a monthly fee, right? Monthly stipend or interest rate on the bet that your debt is going to go to zero. And so you go, yeah, I'll take that any time of day, right? Because you're going to lose, right? So what happens is a lot of people end up betting against the airlines, right? Because they end up, they pay this small fee. And so that person goes and says, hey, yeah, I'll take all that bets. Now what happens is, it's obviously on the people who bet against the airlines. They have a high desire to make sure that those airlines collapse, of course. Now, I'm not saying that they caused the coronavirus, right? But they have like an incentivized interest to collapse the banks. And that's what makes it so dangerous, these derivatives, right? And so now, because those derivatives are all there, I bet you if the airlines were to go bankrupt, that would trigger a lot of derivatives where the counterparty can't pay. Where, for example, I'm betting that these airlines are going to go bankrupt, that are not going to go bankrupt, and if they do go bankrupt, not only do I lose my my debt instruments that I have on the bank on those airlines, but I also lose the money that I need to pay out based on the bet that I made, saying, hey, you know what, I don't think they're going to go under. And all of this is legal, and it's insane, right? And that's why they're called financial weapons of mass destruction.
Davinci,
Yes.
could you tune up your volume a little bit?
Oh my God.
Just a little bit, because people can hear you, but it would be better if it was a little louder.
No, yeah, well, you know what? It's just that it's always a little bit lower, a little bit higher. So it's. I think it. I have to say it. I'm going to listen to this again. I think my volume is right, because.
I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Through the headphones.
Through the headphones. Yeah, exactly. All right. So with that said, let's go over to some of the other fraud that's been going on, like the fraud that really burns me, right? Some of the fraud that really burns me. And I want to talk about the Bank of New York melon, because I remember watching CNBC and all the news reports, and I wish I could bring up the videos feed, but they were saying, well, these guys, what they were doing, right, when they were charging foreign exchange services clients higher fees, it was not only just fraud, it was outright theft, right? Where people should have went to jail, basically. And everybody on the news media was saying that. They were like, yeah, these guys are going to jail. I mean, there's no way around that, right? And it turns out, not only did they not go to jail, they only got paid a small fine, and then on top of that, right, they get to keep overcharging their clients, their retirement funds and everything on foreign exchange services, overcharging them. Because if they didn't stop, If they did stop overcharging, the bank would go out of business because their whole model was based on that, on the fraud of overcharging, of stealing money from their clients. And if they went under, right, a lot of derivatives contracts that we were talking about earlier would go into effect. And so they couldn't let them go under. They couldn't put those people in jail. And so they just changed the laws and made it okay to steal from you and your retirement funds. And this is the sad situation. This is why, if you don't see why Bitcoin will go to $1 million here, because now you have an honest system coming in. I mean, hello. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with you. What's wrong with your eyes? Because clearly, this is that an honest and fair system is 1,000 times better than what we've got right now. And so another example is I like this one where this guy, right, is like in 1984, Michigan resident Lorraine Ramsey purchased 10 pieces of 100-ounce pure silver bars from the Swiss bank UBS, or Prime Web, a subsidiary. Ever since he had paid $25 per month for storage fees. Now, keep in mind, remember what I told you about derivatives, right? So somebody else took his $25 and used it as a derivative bet against his position, his position on silver. So that's so freaking evil. And a few years ago, he he grew tired of paying the storage fees and contacted the bank to arrange delivery. Instead of delivery, Ramsey got only the runaround. When he finally asked to give the serial numbers of the bars and the location of the vault where they're stored, he was told the bars did not have serial numbers. Yeah, right. Untrue. I've had many 100-ounce bars, and they all have serial numbers. Mr. Ramsey started calling Patrick Heller of the Liberty Coin Services for advice on standard industry practices and for ideas on how he could take delivery of these bars. At one point, the bank said that his only option was to sell his bars back to the bank for cash, but Mr. Ramsey did not want to close his position because, that would cause a tax event to occur, right? And he didn't want a tax event to occur. He just wanted to take his assets, possession of his assets, so he didn't have to pay $25 a month for storage fees. Yeah, well, it turns out they didn't have the silver, right? It was all BS. And so it wasn't just UBS doing this, right? It was also Morgan Stanley that got caught doing this and was sued, right? Money for this. And the wretched thing about this, the most wretched thing, is that the bank defends itself by alleging, among other defenses, that it was simply following standard industry practice. In other words, the amount of information given to customers, the unallocated nature of the scheme, as well as the charge of storage fees for imaginary metal, were standard industry practices. Theft of your money, theft of your hard-earned wealth, theft through if you own stocks and you don't think you're being robbed, you're wrong. This whole system is corrupt from A to Z, just completely. It's an amazing kind of thing that exists, that you and you see it, you hear it. You know what? I understand that the traders don't want to believe this. They don't want to see this because it will affect your behavior, right? Because if you realize that the whole system is fraud, why do you have any money stored in retirement funds, right? That's where most of the traders have their money locked up in retirement funds. And once you realize that it's in a place where it's completely fraudulent, you have to you have to, as an intelligent person, want to take it out, but you can't take it out because you don't want to take the loss on your tax hit, basically. But I mean, what I say to people is like, do you think taxes are going to be higher or lower in the future? And they always say higher. So you're going to pay the taxes one way or another, and you're most likely going to pay a higher tax. So I really think, so what I did is I took out all my money out of the financial system and moved it into assets that I can own directly, and no one can actually screw with it. And yeah, true, they can screw with the price of gold and silver because they have done that with their derivatives. And you clearly see that now that you're unable to purchase gold and silver right now. But eventually, that's going to come to an end. They can't stop the inevitable because you can't completely have a complete fraudulent system and have it go on and on forever. It will end, and it will end badly. And then with the new system, right? Especially since Bitcoin is such a hard and straightforward system, meaning that you can read the source code, you can read what the rules are, and you can't change the rules. You can't go, okay, well, yeah, you know how this is illegal, and you can't really steal from everybody. You can't kill people. Well, that's okay. That's okay because we don't want to lose our money. So. I mean, that's the kind of things that our current rules are. They're just like soft rules. They're like, whatever. We decide to change that. And not you, sorry. The government decides to change that whenever they feel like it. Well, that doesn't happen with Bitcoin. There is no governmental body that says, yeah, that's not going to work out for us, so we're going to change it. No. And that's the positive thing. And that's why I'm so excited about Bitcoin doing $1 million and making us all extremely, extremely rich. All right. Thank you for my little storytelling day about the fraud of our financial system. I know I might have depressed a lot of you out there, but hey, you know what? You gotta face reality and live in the world that we do live in, not the world that you think we are living in. All right, so with that said, I want to mention, before we go on to the questions and answer period, that we are affiliated with Bybit and Femex. And if you're interested in shorting or longing the markets, you can do so on Femex, and there's a link in the description below, or you could type in, if you're interested in getting into Bybit, we could type in bybit.davincij15.com, and that will take you to the registration right there to register with my affiliate code. All right, and also same with Femex. Femex is a new kid on the block and has its issues. For example, pages take a while to load and stuff like that. What I suggest you do, if you have a page up with the Femex, is you close that tab and open up a new one, and then it loads a lot faster. I've noticed that's how my workaround for it. But these guys are new on the block, so they're gonna have to work through all the kinks and stuff like that. But if you're interested in joining Femex and supporting the channel, you can go type in femex.davincij15.com. I know my name is really difficult to spell because everybody spells it wrong. So hopefully if you see it up there, that's how it's spelled. And if also you could just click the link in the description below. And there you go. I'll take you to Femex, where you can get some bonuses for signing up, of course, as well. And you could do some bonuses as well, get some bonuses for signing up on Bybit as well. So sign up today and get your free Bitcoins from these two websites. Yeah. And one more thing before we go on, before you do that, before you go and trade on any of those websites, make sure you learn how to trade by heading over to the Rational Investor j15.com. Oops, did I spell that wrong? Yes, I did. I'm a horrible speller. The investor. There we go. Yes, no, maybe so. Did I not get that right? Yes, I did. There we go. There we go. So yeah, head over to the Rational Investor and you can get $50 off your classes for learning how to trade. And basically, everything that I've learned on how to trade, I got it from the Rational Investor. And these guys, right, really take you through the courses. They do a great job. And hey, you know what? Look, Inti even beat me out, right? Right? You did. You got that nice trade off and got that short last night. So
I must say that I don't consider that a win at all, because by getting that trade going, I also went against my trading plan, so that counts as a loss for me. So yeah, don't congratulate me so much.
All right, Inti, what kind of questions you got for us?
We have a lot here. Let's see. We have a super chat from King Cam. And he said, what's your favorite chart to trade? 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and would you open both a long and short on separate exchanges if you're unsure on market direction?
Okay, so it's not about being favorite time frame. It's just where my trading plan would work for trading. So, for example, if I'm going to do a long-term trade, obviously I'd be looking at the daily, and the time frame starting at the daily and then going down in order to get to really refine my position, where my position would be. So that's how I'd work with that. As for going long and short, one of the things you can do, right, it's called a straddle position. And I've done that a few times. I just don't like it. I ended up not liking it. And basically, it's a breakout position, basically, where you go, okay, well, if the market breaks out between this level high on one point and then or breaks out below at another point, I'm going to straddle. I'm going to have a straddle position, meaning that I'm going to take a long if it breaks out up, and I'm going to take a short if it breaks down. So a way you could do an example of a straddle position with our current market would have been like, for example, this right here. If you're looking at what was going on, how this went, let's see here. Oops, we need to go to the 5 minutes to see this. Okay, so there we go, 5 minutes. So if you were to if you were to say, hey, you know what, if this thing breaks down here, were to break here, I'm going to take a short. That would be your one straddle position, and if it breaks the top, I'm going to take a long. So those would be your straddle positions, right? And you'd be short and long at the same time in effect, but not exactly at the same time. You'd wait until one of these two actions actually occurred. Don't like breakout trades because a lot of times they work against me than for me, so I don't like them that much. So that's why. And then there's not much profit. You can see here, it's from here to there, right? Look at that. And then are you going to want to hold this thing going further when it could come back and release, bite you in the butt? That's what I've noticed, is that they do an FU moves and try to and clear out the shorts, clear out your position, and then go and then follow your direction. So I would I don't like breakout positions all that much. But that's up to the individual trader, basically. All right, so next question.
I really like this one. This is from Stratus 14, and he said, it is true, the system is flawed, but they have brilliant minds in their arsenal. Most of Bright Harvard's grades work for Wall Street. Do you think they cannot fix the system? Any chance for Bitcoin to fail? Can I say my opinion into this?
Yeah, sure. What's your opinion?
My opinion is that the system obviously can be fixed. All flaws can be fixed perfectly by them, but
is it in their best interest to do so?
Exactly. Now back to you, Davinci.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, yeah, I mean, all these guys are brilliant, right? But brilliant evil geniuses, right? And you can't expect evil people to do the right thing, right? I mean, Winston Churchill would like to say that Americans always do the right thing once they've tried everything else. Right? So
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
And so, yeah, you could expect that at the very least, right? That they're going to try all the other things and all the other criminal behaviors before they actually end up doing the right thing. And that's the least you can hope for. Least. Consider that the least. So I don't expect them to do anything. I expect them to continue defrauding the public and the world as much as they possibly can until the whole system collapses, right? Because then they will they continue to profit from it. So there's no way around that. All right, next question.
Okay, this is from Zachary Adari. He asked, what do you think about that trying to interconnect blockchains, IBCs, like Cosmos and Aeon, etc.? Are they trying the next big thing within the crypto space?
I mean, everybody's trying the next big thing, and that's the great thing about this space. There's so much innovation. There's so much excitement because everybody know the people who get into this space. They either first they come in with a sense that something's not right, and then they know that something's not right. They end up learning that how the system is flawed, and then they end up with the passion in their stomach to build something better. And so not everybody, of course, is here to build something better, but most people are. And so that's the great thing about this space. And I really think that I don't know if your particular project, Cosmos or whatever it is going to make it. We just going to have to wait and see. But there are going to be great projects out there. So far, MakerDAO is an excellent project that's out there. That's doing very well. Uniswap, amazing idea that's working very well. And you can bet there's going to be a lot more. And so this is a great place to be. Ethereum is a great asset to hold. It's got a bright future. If you don't want to bet on the individual applications, DeFi applications, that's the play. Right there is Ethereum, right? Where it's got a higher upside. It's got a high upside, but not a great delta. Not a 1,000x upside like some of the newer players like MakerDAO or Uniswap or DAI or whatever tokens that are out there that are using the Ethereum network to and leveraging the Ethereum network to build DeFi projects. So it's exciting times, and I'm looking forward to seeing these projects bloom. All right, next question.
This is from Marco Di Stefano. He said, so in your opinion, central banks will fail in 10 or 20 years? I believe Bitcoin is a great thing, but can't totally replace the system of central banks. I rather think it's an alternative, not a replace.
I have to agree in a sense with his statement, right? Central banks will always be here, but they'll be like, for example, like horses, right? Will the car completely replace horses? Well, you could say in a sense they did, but they're still here. You could still use a horse. Still ride the horse across the country, right? you could still find horseshoe makers and stuff like that. They'll still exist, but they'll be not considered relevant. Right? You know what I mean? So yes, I do see central banks existing in 20 years from now, but they won't be relevant. All right, next question.
Next question. Okay, this one is from Alex Crypto. He said, everyone think Bitcoin will reach above 100K by 2022. Do you agree? What's the probability of Bitcoin stay in range between 4K and 18K for another 10 years?
4K and 18K range for another 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the probability that the central banks will stop printing tomorrow?
0? I'm a kill.
Oh my God! So I think he answered. I think we've answered his question, right?
Okay, next question there. Okay, I like this one. This is not a question. This is a request from Ajay Kadam, and he asked for TA on Bitcoin dominance because people in the stream has been asking a lot for altcoins. They want an altcoin video, Davinci. You have to give people what they want.
Okay, an altcoin video. We'll do an altcoin video on Monday for sure.
Okay. So then we are going to touch the Bitcoin dominance, or you're going to do it right now? Okay.
We'll do it. We'll do it on Monday for sure.
I
I'll
say it for
preview
you, Ajay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Jack Shefford asked, what price does Davinci think gold gets to in the next few years?
Well, I think I really think that gold can actually go down in price, but not with all the printing. The reason why I've said that it can go down in price is because remember what you're trading, what is setting the price. It's not the actual supply and demand of gold. It's the supply and demand of promises to pay gold that cannot be met. And so, what's the value of a promise to pay that can't be fulfilled? It's zero. But the Fed has already committed to purchasing any asset that drops to the floor. So they would probably purchase the promises to pay gold that doesn't exist. So I think they will hold that up if they have to, should that start to collapse. Now, that's a possibility with gold. It shouldn't happen that way. Gold needs to be at like $500 more per ounce so that you can actually purchase some. I got an email from Simon Black just yesterday saying that he sourced silver for me, right? And but I have to pay like $75,000, a minimum of $75,000 in order to purchase, right, the silver. So, but I'd get it at a good price. But that's an example of it's still that means I can get it like at a few cents over spot, and I'm like, wow. I might take him up on that offer. So I'm researching it. I'm gonna be finding out some more information. I just read it last night before I went to bed, so I haven't like actually looked at it. And so I'm gonna check out what he's got for me. And I think that that the prices are false right now, and they should be a lot higher, and because it's difficult to purchase the actual physical gold and silver, and only a few people like me, rich people, can actually purchase gold and silver right now or source it, right? So that's can't hold, and eventually these people who are getting the cash that the Federal Reserve are printing, they're going to be buying up all the gold and silver at the low prices until the point that there's nothing left. And then the only way for them to deal with this shortage is to raise the price, because they are actually setting the price. The banking system is setting the price. Now, will they do that? I don't know, honestly. I think it should be like, we should see gold next year at $2,000, well over $2,000, like $2,200, or else there won't be no gold to buy. All right, next question.
All right. Okay. Eren Demir asked Davinci's thoughts on the Lightning Network and Bitcoin Cash.
Oh, Lightning Network. Well, I think the Lightning Network will work if they just rebrand it. And what I mean by that is that instead of like calling it Bitcoin, they just need to call it Satoshis or something else. Anything. I don't care. Whatever. And have it as a separate network completely, separate cryptocurrency completely. And just call it compatible with the Bitcoin network. So when you want to buy this new currency, let's call it Satoshis, you're going to pay with Bitcoins. And you're going to pay with Bitcoins, but the charge is just a transaction fee. And when you swap back out of Satoshis into Bitcoin, it's compatible with Bitcoin, so you just have to pay only the transaction fee to get it out of the Lightning Network. I mean, see how if you look at it that way, it can be easily used as a monetary unit. And why would you want to purchase these Satoshis? Well, because it has lower transaction fees than the actual network, and it's compatible, so the prices are 1-to-1 with Bitcoin. So it's really a stable coin against Bitcoin, right? That can never be changed in value, right? It doesn't move. It's the best kind of stable coin, because all other stable coins actually move a little bit, either 1 or 2% most of the time, but sometimes they go way out of whack. This is another selling feature of the fact that the Satoshis are stablecoin against Bitcoin, is that they don't move out of whack at all, period, zero. There is zero movement between the difference between a Satoshi and a Bitcoin, right? So you could sell it in that way, and if they did it that way, I think it would take off a lot better, way better, because the reason why it can't be compatible, because the addresses are different, address bases are different. The way you transfer between the individuals is way different. They're just not the same, and you can't call them the same. So I think that's the way it has to be marketed in order for it to go forward. As for Bitcoin Cash, well, we tried larger blocks, and nobody's interested. So there it is. If you're interested in larger blocks, you should use Bitcoin Cash. If it's not working for you, it doesn't accomplish what you want it to accomplish, then don't use it, and just use what you think will work for you, and that's that. And Bitcoin Cash is not working for a lot of people, and I think it's slowly going to die off. Maybe not. Maybe somehow they could rebrand it, remarket it, and sell it, and it works out. And I hope it does, because you know what? Competition is good. All right, next question.
Henry John Hernandez asked, when USD hyperinflation, Bitcoin will still be inflated in terms of BTC USD. So 1 billion Bitcoin is useless if it's not counted by inflation. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so what he's saying is that if Bitcoin is $1 billion, and you can buy a used car for $1 billion, right? A good used car. Right now, you can buy a good used car for $6,000, $7,000, right? You'll notice that they're the same value as it is right now, right? So, for example, if you could purchase like the same amount of bread, the same amount of gold, the same amount of silver at $1 billion Bitcoin, prices hasn't changed. The value hasn't changed at all, right? And that is a possibility, but I don't think it will be. The reason why that will not happen is because that will happen to stocks, because stocks are overvalued. But it won't happen to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin and other assets such as gold and Bitcoin will be a safe haven in the hyperinflation of the dollar. So that means that more people will want to get out of dollars than there will be supply of Bitcoin to serve them. And so the Bitcoin will get overvalued in dollar terms, allowing you to purchase a way more than you normally would with your Bitcoins and your gold as well. So during a hyperinflation, so that's the case when we have hyperinflation, because the market will say, well, I don't care what price you're giving me. I just want to get rid of these printed money that they keep giving me, and so it'll just go insane, priced in the currency. All right, next question.
Okay, so this is from Mabro. Hi, Inti, hi, Davinci. Have you heard about Bitcoin's lengthening cycle theory? Would you imagine that Bitcoin cycles will last longer than 4 years in the future?
Oh, definitely, because eventually, right? Everybody knows what has happened, and the halving won't be relevant, because the miners are making more on mining fees than they are with the actual block reward. And so then once the mining is irrelevant, then 4-year cycles goes away, basically, and we probably go into the normal business cycle of 17 to 32, 36 years. So yeah, I would think that would probably be the case going forward once the halvings become irrelevant.
So this is a question this is a ranty question, okay? Mm-hmm. This is from Bondi, and said Peter Schiff on last live stream was urging everyone to sell their bitcoins as it's going to zero. What do you think about it, Davinci?
I'm glad you asked that. I heard him. I watched that show last night, and Peter Schiff's rant, and I thought, well, you said that before at $30. Yeah, you said that before at $100. You said it at $200. You said it at $1,000. So why should we listen to you? What value do you think that Bitcoin is in a bubble right now? What gives it the bubblicious sentiment right now when we have what's it called, central banks printing money? There's no way you could look at this and say that we're in a bubble here. We're actually in a scary downtrend for sure. I can tell you that much. But eventually, right, Bitcoin will move out of this downtrend and into an uptrend, right? Because why is that? Right? It's because it's a limited supply. The mathematics hasn't changed, right? It is designed to be money, and so there's only two options for Bitcoin: zero or millions, right? Or it's a new world reserve currency and a new world reserve currency. There is no middle ground for Bitcoin, and right now it's taking its time to boot up to be the world reserve currency, and that takes time, that takes trust, that takes people understanding what Bitcoin is, and it's difficult to understand. And I understand why Peter Schiff doesn't understand Bitcoin, because think about it. When I first started researching about researching about having to build my own currency, because I wanted to build a currency about the same time that Satoshi did, what I learned was that the double spend problem was impossible, and the concept of it was like, yeah, well, we think we can do it, but no one could come up with the idea how to do it. Look at that. We have 666 viewers on the channel right now. How evil. Anyways, yeah, so the concept of it was thought to be impossible. And so for people to understand that this is now possible, that we can have a digital asset that you can move around to anyone, and no one can actually duplicate it and make it worthless, because hey, you know what? Now I can send you a false Bitcoin, right? Or I could send you a real Bitcoin, but it's just I could create more as much as I want, right? And copy it over and over again. That concept is really foreign to most people. And then even the fact that that it's digital, it's not physical, right? Is still foreign, which I find difficult for people to. I don't understand why people can't understand that concept of a digital asset when all their money in their bank account is digital, right? It's just the difference between the digital asset in the bank and the digital asset on the Bitcoin is one is enforced by law and the other one is enforced by math, right? So if you change your digital, I can change your digital account, right? I can hack into your bank, change the how much you have in your bank account at any time, very easily, right? And if I do that and I get caught, I will go to jail, right? And that's the enforcement by law. Can I hack into your account and add more Bitcoins? Absolutely not, because it's enforced by math. I cannot add more Bitcoins to your account mathematically. And that's the difference between your bank account, your digital money in the bank, and the digital money in Bitcoin. And then the next concept that people don't understand, once you understand that concept, is, well, okay, then why can't somebody just set the price? Where did price come in, right? And price is the supply and demand. Is like, well, wait a second, people don't understand supply and demand. Why didn't just Satoshi just sell it as a set price? Well, he didn't build it a whole bunch of Bitcoins and start selling it. No, he decided to create a system where you could mine it into existence and the market will decide the price. Meaning that if you don't agree with it, you don't buy it, and the price will be a lot cheaper. If you do agree with it, then the price will be a lot higher if a lot of people agree with it with you. And that takes time. That just takes time for people to learn how this system works and whether or not it will work, and then start purchasing it. Once they start understanding it, it becomes self-evident, and then boom, explode. All right, one more question, because we're going almost an hour now, so we'll do one more question and close it off for today.
Okay, this is from Terrell Jeter, and he asked, what is the safest place to buy and store Bitcoin?
The safest place to buy and store Bitcoin. The safest place to buy your Bitcoin is obviously the exchange, your local exchange, not through local Bitcoins. So some exchanges are shady. So the number one exchange that I trust and I would recommend is Bitstamp. You can always send a wire transfer to them and purchase the Bitcoins. Then where you store it is really difficult. There's a difficult choice, but you're gonna have to live with these hardware wallets if you want to store your Bitcoin. It's going to be a little bit of work, a little bit of effort. It's not going to be a walk in the park, unfortunately. And if you're interested in purchasing one of these, you can check the link in the description below. I have there's Treasure, there's Ledger, KeepKey as well as another type of and LEPAL as well. But if you're new, Treasure or Ledger are the two ones that you want to purchase. And then you're just gonna have it's a massive learning curve from the average person's point of view. For me, it's not that big of a deal, but I could see how an average person is going to have a really difficult time with these things. I really think if I were to redesign these things, I would set it so that the only thing you have to do is when you want to send money, is you enter your PIN, and that's it. Send, PIN. That's it. Nothing else. All the rest of the stuff that you do here with this thing is makes it extremely difficult. I think that should be the basic, that should be the core interface. And then there should be, of course, advanced features such as passphrases and so forth. But the core of this should be, hey, I want to send some money. I entered my PIN. Maybe the little bit of setup initially to send what's it called, your it's called a XPub key, key. But basically, what that is basically a long string of numbers that allows your application to generate addresses, so that you don't. So this thing doesn't need to. You don't need to get the address off of this, right? That you currently do right now. You have to every time you want to do something, you have to enter in your password basically, and that's the sucky thing about these things. If you want a new address, you have to enter your password and so forth. But that's just the way they work right now. So that's all we have, and that's what you're going to have to go with. And there's no easier way to deal with it. Hopefully, you know what? I need to research on some of the other. I'm gonna order a bunch more different types of hardware wallets to see if I can find one that does it simply like that. Just, hey, you know what? Password send. That's it. Password send. Just like you do on your wallet on your phone, basically. When I want to send somebody Bitcoins on my phone, all I have to do is enter in the address, enter in how much I want to send, and then enter in my password. Simple. I mean, that's the way I think hardware wallets should be, but they're not. But I guess they're right now designed for just cold storages, and that's all there are, cold storage systems. All right. Thank you very much for all your questions, and thank you very much for your super chats. We will get, let's see here, Super Googly, thank you very much for your super chat. Steve Mayfield, thank you. Been sub since 2010. Thank you very much. I remember when I first started, and it's been a long haul, and I didn't think anybody would watch me, and I appreciate you guys all watching me today. Please hit the like and subscribe button. And if we get to 5 videos likes with 1,000 likes in a row right now, we haven't gotten up to 1,000 likes on any of my videos. So please hit the like button on this video if you liked it, and get this thing up to 1,000 likes, and I will give away 5 one-year subscriptions to Pandora's wallet and access to my Telegram group for 5 lucky winners if we get 5 videos in a row with 1,000 likes. So hit the like, go and hit that like button right now. All right, well, thank you all for watching, and we appreciate you guys coming out to watch this live show. Hopefully Google and YouTube doesn't kick us off, because you heard about the purge, right? It's kind of scary. I've already started to move my stuff off to library, so don't worry about that. And well, thank you again for watching. And if you haven't seen this video popping up right here, please check it out. It's on the treasure, about the treasure wallet, and how you can have a hidden passphrase. And yeah, check that out if you haven't seen it. Cheers.
Cheers.